Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, man, we got a video about Barry McCockiner titled Putting an Asterisk on Every NBA Title. So you all know when they were saying like the Mickey Mouse ring and stuff like that, basically he's going to do that for every single title. And I can only imagine what he says about my 2004 Detroit Pistons, man. Let's get it.
In this video, I will show why every NBA championship since 1950, when the NBA was officially created, has an asterisk on it and doesn't count.
Let's do it.
Some titles have bigger asterisks than others, but none are 100% legit. If you get
not a single one,
then I've done my job. Let's go. 1950. There were only 11 teams, and rebounds weren't even counted yet. Can you believe that? 1951 to 1953. There were only 10 teams. 1954.
Look at that underhand free throw, man.
Teams. 1955 to 1961. There were only 8 teams. 1962 to 1966. There were only 9 teams.
Bro, how is there like damn 7 teams in the NBA? There's literally teams out there that don't got a single bitch ass ring, man. Like that is pretty embarrassing. Like if you're one of them 7 teams or whatever, and you still don't have a title, like.
In
it ain't going to get better.
There were only 10 teams, and from 1968 to 1976, half of the best players in the world were in the ABA. So that about wipes out the majority of the Celtics titles. Now we start getting into the real shit after the NBA and ABA merged starting in the 1976-77.
All right.
1977 Blazers. The NBA referees went on strike during the playoffs. 1978 Bullets. Reigning MVP Bill Walton broke his foot in February when his team was 50-10.
Sad
so
story.
Washington didn't have to face the reigning NBA champions and the best team in the league. The 1979 Sonics. Seattle benefited from injuries, knocking out 2
Kevin Gravy. I like that name.
Bullet starters, Kevin Greavy and Tom Henderson, in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. The 1980 Lakers. Thanks to a trade a few years prior, LA took Magic Johnson with the first overall pick despite finishing 47-35 the year before.
Oh, wow.
For the 1979 draft, they also won a coin flip over Chicago to get the first overall pick. Without Magic, there is no
Magic and Michael Jordan, man.
Really any of the Lakers titles in the 1980s. The 1981 Celtics. The Celtics got to face a losing team in the NBA Finals, the 40-42 Houston Rockets.
Wow.
Can you imagine if this shit happened today with Twitter? The 1982 Lakers.
Yeah, what would be like the equivalent? Like like the Detroit Pistons, right? No, because they're a little bit more than just a losing team, but yeah.
The top 2 seeds
we'll just say the Pistons
were able to skip the first round, and the 76ers were a number 3 seed, so they had to play an extra series before the NBA Finals, whereas LA didn't, thanks to playing in a far weaker Western Conference.
Magic is such a sexy passer, man.
The Sixers played 15 games before the Finals, the Lakers 8. Of course, the fresher Lakers ended up winning the series in 6. The 1983 76ers. Instead of winning 4 playoff series like real men, the 76ers only had to win 3 playoff series to win it all. Soft. Also, Lakers star rookie James Worthy was out for the finals with an injury. The 1984
James Worthy is
Celtics.
so disrespected in NBA history.
Jamal
Just let
Wilkes,
you guys know.
who averaged 17 points per game in 1984.
Gastrointestinal virus, bro. Bro, that's a fancy way to say you got a bitch ass tummy ache, man.
Missed the first round of the playoffs.
Just say tummy
with
ache. It's fine.
gastrointestinal virus. He then lost his starting.
We all get him.
Became a non-factor in the playoffs. Despite this, Boston still barely scraped by LA in 7 games. It's not hard to believe that with a healthy Wilkes, LA wins. The 1985 Lakers. Boston's Cedric Maxwell,
shoot, we got the bad boys
who won
coming
the
up. Forgot about them, too.
Finals MVP, missed 25 games in 1985 due to knee surgery late in the season and was a shell of himself upon his return. With their finals opponent battered, LA cruised in a relatively easy 6-game series. 1986 Celtics. Instead of having to face their hated rival and 62-win Lakers in the finals, Boston got to play a young and inexperienced Rockets team that caught lightning in a bottle and upset LA in the Western Conference Finals. Unsurprisingly,
Man did his research
Boston
though, for
beat
sure.
Houston in 6 games. Houston's 1986 title run would end up being a flash in the pan, as every player besides Hakeem Olajuwon would end up either leaving or self-destructing shortly thereafterwards. 1987 Lakers. LA faced a badly injured Boston team in the finals and didn't have to deal with Len Bias, Boston's 2nd overall pick in 1986, who died prematurely before.
Yeah, that's one of the saddest stories in NBA history.
With Bias on the squad, Boston wouldn't have relied as much on their older veterans like Bird,
he was going to be an NBA legend,
and would have had a better answer for LA's James Worthy. Despite this, Boston still took LA to 6 games, but it wasn't enough. 1988 Lakers. Pistons star Isaiah Thomas suffered a major ankle injury in Game 6 and barely played in Game 7, which Detroit lost by just 3 points. Also, Bill Laimbeer was called for a phantom foul on Kareem.
Yeah, so much bullshit, man.
Allowed LA to extend the series to Game 7.
Pistons should have like 7 championships from that era, man, but just the referees, the fans all hated the bad boys.
and waste a historic 43-point effort by Thomas in Game 6. 1989 Pistons. Magic Johnson blew out his hamstring in
he's
Game
fine.
3 of the NBA
Well, he's
Finals
walking. He's
and
walking.
both his MVP season and the legitimacy of the Pistons.
He's fine. He's walking around. Damn, man. He's fine. Bullshit.
1990 Pistons. Arvydas Sabonis wasn't playing in America yet, so Detroit avoided him starting for Portland in the finals. Detroit also benefited from
Bro, his chubby ass, man. Bill Embiid would have knocked his ass down, bro. I wish he would have played, man. I wish he would have played. We would have won, died by damn double the score whatever we did.
Pippen suffering a migraine in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals versus Chicago. The 1991 Bulls.
Damn, Boban with a mullet.
Top scorer James Worthy and top shooter Byron Scott both got hurt and couldn't play in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. Also, at this point, Magic Johnson probably had, HIV. So, yeah. The 1992 Bulls. Arvydas Sabonis, who Portland drafted in 1986 but wasn't allowed to join the NBA until 1995.
We still talk about this man, Sabonis?
Playing overseas instead of on the Blazers.
Isn't DeMontis a good indicator?
Because Chicago's biggest weakness during their dynasty years was the center position, and Sabonis definitely would have
bank that shit in,
that.
bro.
It also didn't help that Portland completely shit their pants in the fourth quarter of Game 6 against Chicago's backups with Jordan on the bench. 1993 Bulls. Chicago got to face an offensively challenged Knicks team
60
in the Eastern
and 22
Conference Finals before getting to face a mediocre defensive team like Phoenix in the finals. Phoenix, which had the best home record in the NBA in 1993, went 0-3 at home in the finals, including the decisive Game 6, where they
I want an entire video of him of just him doing this research. I picture Barry just on the page, just magnifying glass, looking for all right, what can I say? Yeah, bad defensive team. That's a good one.
In the fourth quarter in a game they lost by just 1 point. 1994 Rockets. MJ was suspended and off playing baseball. Also, John Starks was a double agent for Houston, shooting 2 for 18
wow.
in Game 7 of the finals.
Trash.
A game which Houston won by just 6
Ain't no
points.
Tony Starks.
1995 Rockets. MJ came back late in the year, but wasn't back to being 100% MJ just yet. So Houston got to face a young Orlando team instead of the Bulls in the finals. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Nick Anderson missing 4 straight free throws at the end of Game 1, which would have won Orlando the game, and completely fucked
the 30
up
for 30
Orlando's
about
psyche
that's
the
pretty
rest of the
interesting.
series, which ended in a Houston sweep. 1996 Bulls. The NBA added more expansion teams in Toronto and Vancouver to water down MJ's competition even more.
Wow.
Two-time all-defense member Nate McMillan's back was fucked up, and he barely played in the finals, but most importantly, Seattle coach George Karl inexplicably didn't put 1996 Defensive Player of the Year Gary Payton on Michael Jordan until Seattle was already down 3-0. Seattle went 2-1 once.
Seems
Payton
like a
got
poor
switched
coaching
on to
choice,
MJ
but
full-time, but it was too late. 1997 Bulls. Utah flat out choked in the fourth quarter of both Game 5 and Game 6, shooting 4 of 17 in Game 5, a game they lost by just 2 points, and 5 for 15 in Game 6, a game they lost by just 4. Also, the NBA was still using the shortened three-point line at this point, so who knows if MJ still makes those threes late in his infamous flu game if it's a real three-point line. 1998 Bulls. Utah choked again.
I feel having the flu would knock out the Asterisk
in a game they lost by just 5 points. But the biggest asterisk is how in Game 6, an obvious three-pointer by Utah's Howard Isley was incorrectly waved off, and a later shot by Chicago's Ron Harper, which was obviously not out of his hands until after
that's
the
some
shot
BS.
clock had expired, was incorrectly counted. This was a massive 5-point swing in a game Utah lost by just 1 point.
That is some serious BS.
1999 Spurs. Lockout season. Only 50 games? Seriously? That shit doesn't count. They even got to play a shitty Knicks team in the finals. Give me a break. 2000 Lakers would have lost in the Western Conference Finals if the Blazers didn't completely shit their pants and shoot 5 for 23 in the fourth quarter to blow a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter of Game 7. 2001.
Only they had Damian.
2001 Lakers lost both games to Ray Allen and the top-scoring Milwaukee Bucks in the regular season. This is important because Allen has all but said the Bucks-Sixers Eastern Conference Finals, which Milwaukee lost in 7 games, was rigged so the NBA could get regular season MVP Allen Iverson in the finals against the Lakers, a series which the Lakers would easily win.
Man, soft talk, man.
2002 Lakers.
I don't know if they're
facing elimination down 3.
I don't know. You guys think the NBA rigged stuff? Bro, it's freaking raining out hard outside, man. Damn, bro.
In Game 6
of
of
the
the Western
damn
Conference
flood.
Finals, LA took an absurd 27 free throws in the fourth quarter of a historically controversial series. Also, LA avoided going down 3-1 by getting lucky on a scrum play under the basket that somehow ended up with the ball being tapped out right to Robert Horry, who converted
got such a pretty jump shot
for LA as
was he on that
time
team?
expired in Game 4. 2003 Spurs. Dirk Nowitzki didn't play in the final 3 games of the 2003 Western Conference Finals with a knee injury, giving San Antonio an easy pass to the finals, where they defeated a weak New Jersey Nets team. 2004 Pistons. After averaging 18 points per game in the first round, LA's Karl Malone's knee completely imploded by the finals and was a non-factor. Malone is a piece of shit, but Chauncey Billups winning finals MVP isn't much better.
Hey!
Morals department. 2005.
I can't help that old-ass 97-year-old Karl Malone's knee gave out. Like, and not to mention, he got clamped up too. So, I don't care, man. He could have been prime Karl Malone. We were still beating that team down, man. Come on now.
Spurs. The league expanded from 29 to 30 teams, diluting San Antonio's title. Also, Rasheed Wallace's massive brain fart late in Game 5 to leave Robert Horry uncovered.
I don't want to hear about
it. All but cost Detroit the title, putting them down 3-2.
I don't want to talk about that. That's my biggest, just don't want to talk about moment in NBA history. I'll talk about Darko all day. We talk about Stanley Johnson. You want to grab some lunch sometime? We can talk about Josh Smith at small forward. I do not want to talk about Rasheed Wallace and that horrible defensive blunder, man. Oh, my goodness.
San Antonio for the final 2 games, where they ended up losing in 7. 2006 Heat. Miami took 52 more free throws in this series than Dallas, an astounding number. Mark Cuban was so
well, we don't talk about the Pistons.
Put a former FBI agent on the case to investigate.
What?
Yeah, moving on. 2007
Yo, goddamn, James Bond.
Amari Stoudemire and Boris Diaw, both in their primes, were suspended for a pivotal Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals for stepping onto the floor at the wrong time after San Antonio's Robert
he busted up Steve Nash's face
into the sideline. Instead of getting to face a veteran and experienced Pistons team in the finals, the Spurs got to face a Cavs team that consisted of LeBron and a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids. 2008 Celtics. Celtics legend and former Minnesota GM Kevin McHale called up his
Big
former
Al.
Celtics teammate and former Celtics GM Danny Ainge and traded him Kevin Garnett in his prime. And we all know Boston doesn't win in 2008 without KG. 2009 Lakers.
Big Al Jefferson was a baller, though.
LeBron, who averaged 39, 8-8 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and somehow wasn't enough. Of the 229 individual opponents that Kobe Bryant faced at least 20 times in his career, his lowest win percentage came against LeBron. LA got to face Dwight Howard in Orlando instead. Courtney Lee blew a point-blank layup at the end of Game 2, and Derek Fisher bailed out LA and Kobe in the clutch.
D-Fish always been doing that, though.
LA won the series in 5,
always.
But it was a much closer series than people remember. 2010 Lakers. In Game 7 of the finals, the Lakers took 21 free throws in the fourth quarter, while the Celtics took 17 all game. Coincidence? I think not. 2011 Mavericks. It's obvious that a Mavericks fan with major mob connections got the mob to force LeBron James to throw the 2011 finals. There is no other explanation for his unexpectedly awful performance that allowed Dallas to win the series in 6 games. 2012 Heat. A lockout season full of broken bodies. Derrick Rose tore his ACL, torpedoing the number 1 seeded Bulls season.
D-Rose still out balling, though, isn't he?
Heat
still out balling.
By default to the finals and took down a young OKC team that never fully arrived. 2013 Heat. The reigning 2012 Western Conference champs OKC traded away future MVP James Harden and lost Russell Westbrook to injury in the first round of the playoffs, paving the way for the Heat to repeat. Also, Ray Allen's miracle shot saved Miami from losing in 6 games in the finals versus San Antonio. 2014 Spurs. In Game 1 of the NBA Finals in San Antonio, the Spurs' home arena's air conditioning
That's right, the LeCramp game, man.
LeCramp. Electrical failure, and LeBron had to be carried off the floor due to leg cramps. San Antonio won Game 1 by 15 points.
I've got them leg cramps. They ain't nice.
The remainder of the series. Yes, I'm butthurt. 2015 Warriors. Kyrie Irving's kneecap exploded late in Game 1 of the finals, causing an already injured Cleveland team to play scrubs like James Jones, Iman Shumpert, and Matthew Dellavedova major minutes the remainder of the series. Somehow, the series still went 6 games, largely thanks to LeBron's brilliance. The 2016 Cavaliers. Draymond Green got suspended in a potential clinching Game 5, and Steph Curry might have been hobbled, and Harrison Barnes also missed several very open shots. Oh, and you can't forget how Andrew Bogut got hurt early in Game 5 as well. 2017 Warriors. Kevin Durant joined a 73-9 team because of a cap spike, creating a team that was so overpowered they came within 1 game of sweeping the entire postseason without even trying very hard. 2018 Warriors. Chris Paul's hamstring popped while Houston was up 3-2 in the Western Conference Finals. Houston then missed 27 straight 3-point 3-pointers at home in Game 7. In the finals, LeBron broke his hand in frustration after the refs George Hill and J.R. Smith cost him a brilliant
we all did.
51-point performance in
We were all very
Game 1.
confused
But
by that.
mostly, it's the same as the year before. Golden State doesn't win without re-signing KD again. They were a completely artificial dynasty that deserves absolutely zero respect. 2019 Raptors. Kawhi Leonard rested all season and got an extremely lucky bounce at the end of Game 7.
Nah, that bounce was all skill,
in the
man.
Eastern Conference semifinals.
He planned that.
Ended up nudging the ball through the basket. But let's be real. The real asterisk here is that Toronto only beat Golden State in the finals because Kevin Durant played just 11 minutes all series long, and Klay Thompson missed 1.5 games. A healthy Golden
pulled my
State
hamstring.
steamrolls them. 2020 Lakers. A bubble ring. No crowds, no travel, and Miami had injuries to key players like Goran Dragic and Bam Adebayo that gave LA an easy finals win. And finally, the
bubble ring,
2021 Bucks. Injuries to Harden and Kyrie in the Eastern Conference semifinals are the only reason Milwaukee made the finals. And in the finals, they got to play a good but not great Phoenix team who were only there largely thanks to injuries to LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Kawhi Leonard. Just a massively injury
Y'all mad?
postseason all around. Even though I just spent the last 10 minutes.
Alright guys, that's the end of the video right there, man. Oh boy, that was pretty funny. Did y'all get angry? Let me know in the comments. I obviously got angry at one point, but it was about our loss. So I don't know, man. Hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out Barry's channel, link in the description below. Peace out, my friends.